Just got to finish my vacuuming. Give me 45 minutes. Hi, welcome back. Thanks for joining me again. You may have noticed at the end of the last video, the more perceptive of you, that this turn was probably just going to be one where the heroes were just moving, spending their whole turn moving towards the door in the centre of the room. Now I did anticipate that problem, and so what we're doing this time around is we're actually putting two moves into one video. The first turn, is just getting those boring movement out of the way, and then the second turn will be hopefully a little bit more interesting. So I'm going to shoot the first turn, take some photos, email them to my players, and then we'll get the second turn in as quickly as we can, get that filmed, and we'll put the whole lot up in one shebang. So without further ado, we better get on to it. And here we are again for the start of turn 11. Not a lot to say about the overall structure, except that Wilhelm's going to have his work cut out for him to get back into the action in time. But we'll just start, I suppose, as we always do, with Elroyce and Lothario. Alright, so not a lot for them to really do. The instructions are just to stand ready outside that main door in the centre and wait until the rest of the party catches up with them. So I'll move Elroyce over there now. And I'll move Lothario over next to him. Now, because Lothario is standing in this corridor here, Lothario is going to take her second action to search for secret doors and traps, just to back up the other players that are coming along, and she finds that this particular corridor is completely free of either. Alright, so that concludes the first half of the turn. Now we'll move over to the Barbarian and the Wizard. Alright, so as I said, Wilhelm's quite a long way from the action. He's just going to move his full allotment of 7 squares for this turn. So he'll move now. That's all that he's going to be able to do. And now Barabel will have his turn. So Barabel was going to move into the corridor and search for secret doors and traps, because he's a little bit concerned about that. And that will pretty much be his turn. He'll just take one step and do the search. So he'll do that now. He moves forward 1, searches for secret doors and traps, and luckily he did, because right in front of him is a pit trap. Now they don't have the dwarf with them, so they can't actually disable it. So what they can attempt to do, however, is to leap over it. Now there are special rules for that, and I'll read them out to you now. Characters and monsters may attempt to jump across a pit. They must have enough movement to get across the pit, counting the pit square as one space. There must be an unoccupied space adjacent to the pit for the miniature to jump onto. Any miniature who attempts to jump across must roll a combat die. If he rolls a skull, he falls into the pit and loses 1 body point and may do nothing else until his next turn. Otherwise the miniature may continue its move. So it appears that the Wizard and the Barbarian are going to have to attempt to do that if they want to join their friends in the centre of the dungeon. Alright, and for the start of turn 12, it comes back around to Elroyce again. He's going to open the door. I'm going to place the furniture and figurines in the room if there are any in the room. I mean, we're all assuming that there is. I'm going to take a photo, email it to my players, and they'll get back to me with the rest of their 12th turn. So I'll open the door now, and we'll see what lays on the other side. And goodness me, it is some bookcases. Okay, so it looks like we're probably going to have to rotate the board for the benefit of this last part of the video. I'll do that now, and we'll actually get a feel for what's on the other side. The rusted hinges and latch on the door creak as the door is opened, and Elroyce peers through cobwebs and dust. And in the centre of the room he sees 2 skeletons, a zombie and a mummy. And there's a table there with papers and scattered oddments on it, and 2 very large bookcases. The mummy reaches up to its face and peels a few of its bandages away, and it says through its rotted teeth, "The Master's amulet will not be taken." And they all move to ready themselves for an attack. So Elroyce hasn't actually done anything yet. All he's done is open a door, so he's still got his full allotment of actions, as does everybody else. So I'll take a photo, and email it to my players, and we'll see what they choose to do now. And we're back, and doesn't it feel like no time has passed at all? Alright, so Elroyce has decided, like the gallant hero that he is, he's going to run away like a little girl. So, he's fleeing down the corridor to just before the corner here, to try and draw the monsters out into the hallway. Now, that's all he's going to do in his turn. Lothario, where she's standing, she actually has line of sight to this skeleton and this mummy, because you can draw an unobstructed straight line. So she's going to fire her crossbow at the skeleton, and then she's going to move and move down behind Elroyce in the hallway. So we'll do the attack first. The crossbow allows Lothario to roll 3 dice in attack, so she'll roll that now. And she's managed to roll 2 skulls there. So the skeleton will try and defend. Skeletons defend with 2 dice. So it's going to need 2 black shields to defend that hit. And it does not defend the hit and is destroyed. Alright, and so Lothario is now going to move down the corridor behind Elroyce. So that ends the turn of the elf and the dwarf. We'll now rotate the board back around, and we'll move over to the barbarian and the wizard's turn. Alright, now Wilhelm is the first to go as usual. Now Wilhelm would like to try and jump over the pit, but he doesn't actually have enough movement points to allow him to do that. He's got enough movement points to allow him to fall into the pit, but not enough to clear the pit. So what he's going to do is he'll move the 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and he'll move behind Barabel, so that he's got a nice open area to run and try and leap across the pit on his next turn. Alright, so now it'll be Barabel's turn, and Barabel's going to try and jump across the pit, remembering that he's got to try and avoid rolling a skull on a dice as he tries to jump. So we'll see how he goes with that. And unfortunately, Barabel tumbles into the pit, taking 1 body point of damage, and his movement ends there, so he can move no further. Okay, so that ends the hero's turns. Now the evil wizard gets to have his fun, and I get to move my multitudes of monsters on the board. Alright, so the heroes have put me in a bit of a difficult position here. None of my enemies can move as far as the heroes have decided to run away. The skeleton can move the furthest. He can move 6. So he's going to move out into the corridor. Into the corner here. Ready to charge down and run down the elf and the dwarf. The disappointing thing is that the zombie and the mummy can only move 4 squares. So what we'll do is we'll move the zombie here. And the mummy is going to move here. And that ends my turn, and that indeed ends everybody's turns. So that's the end of turn 12. And so we conclude a rather exciting 2 turns for everybody concerned. Yeah, so Barabel is going to have to climb out of the pit on his next turn. He's only got 2 body points left now after that tumble into the pit. The elf and the dwarf have definitely got impending monsters, but of course Lothario's crossbow has already dispatched 1 skeleton, so we'll see how she can go with that. Thank you again for watching Tortuga. My name's Tinny, and we'll see you for next turn.